Seasons of Mist was the fourth story arc of the Sandman. It played out across issues 21 to 28 of the series. The story is set in motion by Dream, realizing that he needs to atone for an earlier act, an act of prideful cruelty. 2 earlier issues of the series provide the necessary background info. Since reading the entire series is not within the scope of this course, I'll now delve into the relevant events from those 2 issues, issue number 4 and issue number 9. With regard to the timeline of events, the story related in issue number 9 came first. It presents the reader with a love story between the mortal Nada and Dream of the Endless. A grandfather is telling his grandson the tale. It's part of an African coming-of-age ritual. According to the African myth, and it would have been passed down orally from generation to generation, Nada was the virgin queen of the city where man began. Dream took her, a mortal, as his lover, even though it was forbidden for one of his kind to do so. When Dream reveals that he's more than just a man, Nada is overcome with terror. She flees him, taking the form of a gazelle. Dream chases her, and of course he's going to catch her. Nada resorts to taking a sharp rock to break her maidenhead, expecting his passion to ebb. He simply replies with, quote, "I am no mortal man, and I love you as no mortal man could love. What matters your body to me," end quote. He then draws her into his black robe. The myth relates that when the sun saw, the next morning, what they had done, it melted Nada's city of glass with a great fireball. Nothing remains of her city but sand and shards of glass in the shape of hearts. Seeing what the relationship had caused, but at a loss for a way to end it, Nada flings herself from a mountaintop to a bloody death. Ever persistent, Dream follows Nada to the border of the realm of death. We should keep in mind that Death is his sister. He gives her an ultimatum: agree to be his bride or suffer eternal torment. Nada refuses to be the Queen of Dreams. Thus, he condemns her to hell. He shows no remorse about doing so until his sister Death, centuries later, chastised him for it. Interestingly, the final page of issue 9 ends by mentioning another version of the tale. Now we turn to the events of the Sandman issue number 4. While seeking to track down and recover his helmet, Dream learns that it resides in the possession of a demon in hell. After reaching the infernal realm, he ends up traveling past a set of cages. Nada happens to be in one of them. She calls out in her African language for him to free her. "Your forgiveness can free me. I implore you. Don't you love me?" Dream coldly replies, "It has been 10,000 years, Nada. Yes, I still love you, but I have not forgiven you." This brief scene takes up only 7 panels, but lays the groundwork, when combined with their love story, for the entire Season of Mist story arc. His conscience is pricked. Dream will now travel to hell to free the captive Nada, and he'll find that things have changed in hell. A weary Lucifer has decided to quit his job, to evict the residents of hell, and to give Dream the key to the infernal kingdom. Quote, "It's all yours now, Morpheus. You're the sole monarch of a locked and empty hell." End quote. As you can imagine, this change in the status quo will lead to some upheaval when word gets out that Dream has obtained the most desirable plot of psychic real estate in the whole order of created things. I've chosen for you to read the Season of Mist storyline for 3 reasons. The story references and allows us to discuss a number of earlier pieces of literature dealing with man's vision of how hell functions. Specifically, I'm referring to John Milton's Paradise Lost and Dante's Inferno. Second, I've chosen for you to read Season of Mist as a point of reference for understanding one philosophy and one art/literary movement. Both the characters of Dream and Lucifer provide an opportunity to discuss the 18th and 19th century art and literary movement known as Romanticism. For now, I'll just dispel the possible preconceived notion that the Romanticism movement was about love, poetry, hearts, and roses. Rather, and quite in opposition to this, a central theme of Romanticism was a focus on suffering and death. Further, it placed new emphasis on such emotions as fear, horror, terror, and awe. As for the philosophy, Seasons of Mist can be read through an existentialist lens, considering the question of whether hell or suffering is freely chosen. Lastly, I have a very personal reason. Seasons of Mist was my gateway drug to the Sandman. My mother purchased a hardcover, leather-bound edition of it for me through the Science Fiction Book Club way back in 1992. I still have it, as you can see, and it's actually become quite rare. Because of this storyline's popularity, the character of Lucifer earned his own miniseries in 1999, and then a 75-issue series published from 2000 to 2006. 2 other series would eventually follow. And yes, there's that Lucifer TV show. You may have streamed on Netflix, where he helps the LAPD solve crimes. It's based upon the very same character from the Sandman. The series began on Fox in 2016, but it was canceled after 3 seasons. A successful #SaveLucifer campaign was initiated by fans, and it's led to 3 additional seasons.